Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Probably because, to me, you're just a phone on a stand. Isn't that crazy? Happy New Year. It's 2026. If you're watching this, tonight is New Year's Eve that I'm filming on. So I wanted to talk about some of my favorite music from this past year that we just had. It was a really, really good year for music, especially for heavy music, which is what most, if not all of these are going to fall into. So we're going to go ahead and look at some of my favorite releases for this year. These are in no particular order, no favorites. Let's get talking about it. So first we have, came out in January of last year. This is Stick to Your Guns, Keep Planting Flowers. This album I really, really liked. You can see thematically what we might have going on here. It's a very, very political record, as Stig kind of always is, and they also just kind of hit a stride and a sound that I really, really love. Now, I'm a big fan of the band to begin with, and they didn't surprise drop this album, but it was kind of like, hey, here's the album, pre-order it and check it out now. So that's, of course, what I did, and I gotta say that this is a cover-to-cover banger. Covers a lot of themes from what's going on in America right now, the music industry, and everything else. We have some killer artwork here, both on the front and the back. Some beautiful like painting style images there, and yeah, a lot of nice theming in the record here. My favorite track off of this one is either going to be Who Needs Who, which is a song about the music industry, or it's going to be the very last track, which is Hate for You. Alrighty, next up, we got Malevolence, Where Only the Truth is Spoken. This is their newest record that came out earlier this year. Malevolence, I think, is an incredibly underrated band. I had the pleasure of working with them a few times this year and a couple years before that as well. They just bring a melody to heavy metal that mostly everyone else is lacking, that real kill switch engage type energy, sort of. And also, I am just a huge fan of Khan's crowbar style clean vocals. They step over a lot of boundaries in the metal scene. So Malevolence is absolutely known for having some of the sickest merch items, but also just physical media in general, like other than this record. There's also this. There's a limited edition that looks like Call of Duty. Looks like a game case. Well, it is a game case. Comes with the CD. Very, very cool. And I just love people who are willing to do different things. That's why I buy something like this. They also have one of their older EPs, this cigarette cassette tape, which I also just love. Malevolence, Where Only the Truth is Spoken. I love the videos that they did for the Snatch style video. And my favorite track is going to be If It's All the Same to You on this album. I really love the chorus in that song. But yeah, all in all, Malevolence brings an energy that you don't really see, and this album is also packing a feature from Randy Blythe from Lamb of God. Great album. All right, next up we have Stray from the Path, Clockworked. This is the band's final album, which they really only announced kind of when the album came out, or shortly, a day before or something like that, that this would be their final release and they were going to be breaking up, which incredibly sad to me. I've been a huge fan of the band for a long, long time, but they went out with a bang. I really, really love this whole album. I love that they still have the sound that they're known for, but they also mixed it up quite a bit. I really like the track featuring Between the Buried and Me. That is the Bodies in the Dark. I would say my favorite track off of this is probably the second track, which is Fuck Them All to Hell. Very sweet. Very political themes, as the band has always been known to have, and you know, I really respect that. Drew has been unafraid to say things that a lot of people are afraid to say. So yeah, there's some cool stuff on here, and I really recommend that you give this album a whirl from front to back. I think it flows really well, but I find myself listening to it all the time. All right, next up, we have a little departure from the heavier world. We have Turnstile's new album. This album is called Never Enough. I really like, again, every song on it. You know, I know that their last album kind of blew them up and is what got them on my radar. Yeah, this is just an awesomely composed album, and it still has that punk rock edge that I love from Turnstile, and all they have the bounciest riffs in the world and stuff like that. So they did a theatrical movie release of basically what was a combined music video for every song on the record that I went and saw with my partner, my girlfriend, in Vancouver, and that was a very fun experience. So again, love bands that are doing different things like that. Love this album. I love the kind of up and down of it, because they have a lot of soft songs on here as well, as you get a, you know, little look at the back there. Yeah, my favorite song off of Never Enough is probably going to be Birds. It's just, it has that bouncy riff, and yeah, just like Glow On, to me, this is, you know, just a very easy album to listen to. You know, great for driving. Yeah, Turnstile. All right, here. Next up, we have a very sick album. This is A Door Left Open by Orthodox. This might be the heaviest album on this list. I actually had never really listened to Orthodox until I was on the road with them this year, which, you know, I'm lucky enough to have worked for, with, around a lot of these bands, and that's part of what I appreciate so much about the records, is knowing the work that went into them and the work that people do every day to deliver art like this. So I toured with Orthodox on the Flesh Stays Together Dying Wish tour, which is a little bit of a spoiler for some stuff coming up. I just couldn't believe the heaviness. I know that's such a simple thing to say, but the way the guitars sound and the way that the vocals kind of sit beautifully on top of everything, it is just some of the angriest music that I have ever heard. This band really has a way with breakdowns. I just watched their audio tree today as well, and they were talking about how when they're writing, suggested that it needs to sound like a plane crashing into a house, and that is a great description of A Door Left Open. There's a feature by Bron Daylor of Mastodon, which is a crazy kind of vibe clash in a really sick way. Talk about the theme of the album kind of just being like, you come home and your door is left open. What's missing, who's in there waiting for you, what will you never see again, and just kind of the panic and horror of that. A Door Left Open by Orthodox. My favorite song off of this record is absolutely Sacred Place. It's my breakdown of the year. It's just one of the most disgusting and heavy things that I have ever heard. I just love that people are still finding new ways to make a guitar sound fucked up. So yeah, this is definitely one that you should check out. A Door Left Open by Orthodox. All right, coming in next, we got Tsunami Sea by Spirit Box. Got the faces there. This probably doesn't come as a surprise to anyone who knows me or follows me, but I am a huge Spirit Box fan. You can see some of the stuff behind me, I'm sure, as their second full-length album in follow-up to Eternal Blue. This came out, I think, in February of this year, but I was lucky enough to be on the record release tour for this earlier in the year. And again, just seeing how much work goes into all of these songs, and how much Mike and Courtney pour into the art that comes out for you. There's a very diverse lineup of songs on this record. My favorite is probably either Ride the Wave or Crystal Roses, which those are both very dynamically different songs from what maybe the rest of their catalog or what you would expect them to sound like. And I love that. I love that they did an almost anime style song with Crystal Roses, and Ride the Wave really reminds me of Mama by another one of my favorite bands, My Chemical Romance. This album has something for absolutely everyone. You have, tracks like Soft Spine and Fata Morgana that are just disgustingly heavy. I really think that there is something for everyone on this record, so pick it up and check it out and figure out which song is for you. Spirit Box. Last up, we have Dying Wish, Flesh Stays Together, and this is a very recent release. I was just on the album release tour for this just a month ago of filming this right now. And I first heard about or first saw Dying Wish a few years ago. They were opening for Devil Wears Prada and Stray from the Path. Yeah, I just really dig their guitar tone, especially as a guitar player. It just, like, to me, sounds like that dialed PV 6505 plus, chunk that has just been on all of your favorite metal albums over the years. You get a little more logo action on the back here, along with the Flesh Stays Together there. I just love to see big things happening to good people in the industry, and this album is one of those. I really love that for the most part this album is just heavy all the way through, barring probably like one song. A lot of themes that I really can relate to in here, and insanely crispy breakdowns. I know people use crazy words to describe music, but some insanely crispy breakdowns. Kind of the metalcore that I probably would have always wanted to write, especially when I was younger. But to see them succeeding and the big things that are on the come up for Dying Wish gets a big old thumbs up from me. My favorite track off of Flesh Stays Together here is probably either the first track, I Don't Belong Anywhere, into Curse Upon Ire, or Revenge and Carnage. Also just another nuts song. This album is, again, definitely worth a listen to. It's great gym music if you're going to the gym. Check it out. That's Dying Wish, Flesh Stays Together. And before I wrap things up here, I just want to emphasize how important it is to buy some freaking music. Buy the music. Buy the fucking music. Whether you buy a record like these, or I try to buy a physical record of the albums that are very special to me, as you have seen, kind of by these. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to continue to buy the music that you like, that you love. Streaming is great, no shade. Streaming is great for driving in your car. Nothing comes with a CD player anymore or anything like that, but streaming doesn't, it pays, diddly squat, to say the least. And buying these records, whether it be, like I said, a vinyl or a CD, or even on Apple Music or anything of the online stores like that, it sends a message to the record labels who own these albums that, hey, this is something that people are willing to plop down $10 for a digital copy of, or they're willing to put, $20 to $30 into a physical copy of this artist. And we got to keep these artists going. You want favorite bands making favorite albums for next year, you got to support them. So able to pay people like me who work for them and drive them around, people who do their sound and merchandising and everything else. Bands should be making money off of their royalties. Bands shouldn't have to be on tour 19 months a year in order to, maybe come home with enough money to pay their bills. So in 2026, guys, buy some music. Get out there. Buy a CD. Buy a record. It's fun. You get a big old frisbee that you get to listen to. How crazy is that? Honorable mentions from this year that don't really fit the category albums. This year there was a remix and remaster of Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge by My Chemical Romance. This is my favorite album of all time. And originally I was pretty skeptical about the idea of a remix and master because I love and am just so used to the way that the 2004 mix is, but there is stuff in this remaster that I have never heard, and I will wager that I might have listened to this album more than anyone else in the world. While I was initially kind of skeptical of it, the re-release is great. I'll still probably choose to listen to the 2004 version. Yeah, and it comes also with some live songs as well that weren't on the original record, so that's cool. But yeah, the re-release of Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge, and my favorite song on this record is probably still Thank You for the Venom. The song's just insane. So, and my other honorable mention for the year is probably my most listened song of the year, but it wasn't an album, it was a single release, but Gifted Every Strength by the band Loathe. Insane song. Loathe are really like nothing else. You've never listened to them. Yeah, check out Gifted Every Strength by Loathe. Thanks for watching the video. If you like what you see, I'm going to be doing a lot more of this stuff this year, so hit the subscribe button and come along for the journey. But Happy New Year. Have a good one.